Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Here we are.
Okay.
Oh, Lordy.
We are live. I'm going to switch Allison's mic.
What did you say?
We should just
I
call it
said wrong about Dick.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
We should
Cheney.
just call it
Cheney.
wrong about
you stop talking whenever you want on that.
About Dick Cheney.
Okay.
Did the president say anything about him?
Nope.
Can I get a quick test, Allison?
Testing.
Okay. All right. Start the commercial. You guys are good.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am Republican strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I am former Republican Senate Majority Leader Amy Frederickson.
And I am Minneapolis cultural correspondent doing field election work, Allison Nessie.
I am not turning on my mic in time. Javier Murillo.
And we are...
Wrong About Everything.
Javier was correct about that mic thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're completely rebranding.
Yeah.
That's your.
It's a rebrand.
It's a.
It's a rebrand. Every
It's never
decade
too
or
late.
so.
It's never too late.
Every decade.
So this is like New Coke? See what I did there? See what I did there?
Yeah.
You made it dirty.
No, it's
No.
not dirty.
New Coke. I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what happened there.
I have
does.
no idea what you're talking
doesn't.
about.
Wow, you're not that young.
I know.
She must be.
You don't remember the launch of New Coke?
Reformulated. It called it New Coke, and it was such a bomb. People were like stockpiling the old Coke, and then they had to come back with Coke
That was
Classic.
Coke Classic.
Was this like in the 90s where there was like just a lot of weird rebrands and relaunches?
Remember
with
there was
all their...
Pepsi Clear?
There's
I
Pepsi.
do remember that from my childhood. Yeah, I remember that when I was a kid.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
When
Yeah.
Clear Pepsi.
Anyway, this isn't it, so I don't even know what we're talking
Because
about.
Homer Simpson went,
I got married.
Invisible Cola.
You guys, I'm sorry. New Coke was released in 1985.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Oh,
sense.
God.
when were you
85.
released?
I was released in 1989, along with Taylor Allison Swift. But yeah, so
Well, growing up in Chicago, there
You
were
were
all
born
kinds
in
of...
1989.
It's weird.
Oh wow.
We were
and I'm
allowed
not that
to
young.
have-
That's weird.
We weren't allowed to have pop.
Shut up.
So, we weren't allowed to have pop.
There was
so I
all
didn't
kinds of pop in Chicago that no one ever heard of up here. I think it must have been bigger market, got all kinds of stuff.
Burners.
But everybody, welcome to the Minnesota Credit Union Network studios, deep within the recesses of MBC Studios here in Northeast Minneapolis. We have Gabe Noah, very capably pushing the ones and twos in the other room. And we hope that you're watching us on YouTube. Please find us on YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow, forward it to a friend. We would appreciate that very much.
That was so pleading.
It really was. Please go to the
Yeah.
YouTubes and watch us.
tell us your friends how cool we are.
You should be meaner about it. I have better success when
It's
we're mean.
true.
All right.
What would
We-
you say?
You know what? We don't care if you're listening
Go
to
to
us.
YouTube.
What are you, some kind of nerd listening?
No,
No, that's not
not like
right.
that. No, it's more like this podcast is. But you don't deserve this podcast. We do this every week. You don't deserve us, but you should share us because so that you're. Whoa, whose phone is ringing?
It's me. I got a.
It's New
family
Coke over
thing.
here.
It's great. The rebrand's going really well. Right. We got some more bills to pay.
We do. Since we're talking about beverages, we want to thank our new sponsor, the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association. Since 1952, the Minnesota Licensed Beverage Association has been helping licensed beverage retailers in the state of Minnesota with information resources, educational programs, and government affairs services designed to promote and protect their business. All of the MLBA member retailers understand that with the MLBA, you are not alone.
Who? Yeah, they like UFOs. They believe in UFOs.
Not alone. You know who else isn't alone?
Criminals.
Criminals, unless they're snitches. Then they got
Then nobody.
They got
Hanging out to dry.
They got to find. They got to find their own friends.
And I respect Mike Bryant for that.
I talked to Mike Bryant on the phone this week.
For those of
He's
you
doing
who
great.
don't know what we're talking about, just a while ago, we had Mike Bryant on, who advertises his legal services, and he said, and it just in the most deadpan,
He was talking about, like,
in the most deadpan voice, and as I recall, it was not even that relevant to the moment. Someone said snitches, and he goes, "I don't represent snitches."
Yeah, well, I think it was the news story of the day. It had to do with the court trial. We were asking him some questions. He was our expert on, and I think somebody in the story was a snitch.
Oh, yeah, that's
and then
what
he's
it
like,
is, yeah.
and we're like, well, would you or what would you do in this case? He goes, well, I don't represent snitches, and it was so badass. We're like, oh, well, no, sir.
Better call Saul.
Bradshaw and Bryant, their entire team of attorneys and staff is dedicated to providing the legal advice you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter, do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Contact them at 800-770-7008 or at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Well, everybody, now we're doing the election postmortem. Yeah, yesterday was November 4th. It was election night here in Minnesota and across the country. All kinds of interesting things. Let's focus a little bit on what happened in Minnesota, where the highest profile races were in the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, sometimes known as the Twin Cities.
You're over-informing. Let's get to it.
A little too much exposition.
Yes,
this is kind of a big night.
Kind of a big night.
Especially in St. Paul.
Yeah, so let's save St. Paul. Let's talk Minneapolis, where Mayor Jacob Fry won his third term in office, and I don't know that anyone was shocked by that. It was kind of going that way, but with ranked choice voting, you kind of never really know. But he had a 10 percentage point lead on the first ballot, and then today they went through the second and thirds, and he ultimately was deemed the winner. And largely the council went as people predicted, but there were some changes.
There were some surprises.
There's some new people and some incumbent that was created.
Do we have final count in precinct 5?
Ward 5, yes.
Ward 5, I'm sorry, Ward 5. We do?
We do. Pearl Warren has been officially...
Pearl was leading.
Yes,
so.
Officially. That was the surprise for me, personally.
Okay.
I didn't really know, it was an open seat. Jeremiah Ellison did not run again. Ethrofic, who I used to work with at the city, she's awesome. Pearl seems awesome. Like it was really like a good opportunity for new people to jump in.
Open seat's
hard. Open seats are hard to predict. I think the biggest, kind of upset with the incumbent was Katie Cashman in Ward 7, who was not successful in keeping that seat. Elizabeth Schaefer, who's currently on the park board, challenged her and won pretty handily. So, but
some results up if you're watching us on YouTube.
If you're watching us on YouTube,
Yes.
I think ranked choice voting is so interesting, especially with an incumbent. I think
Javier should modify what he said last week because it didn't work out.
It wouldn't have made a difference, but
I think it would have made a huge difference.
okay.
With what?
Well, not in Minneapolis.
Melvin
Oh,
did
I'm
the
sorry.
one.
I was so
That's
focused
what
on
you mean.
I was so focused on Minneapolis. But what I think also maybe something to reflect on and look back is if you don't have the challenging faction of the party coalescing around a single candidate, it just dilutes the vote. It really does. It's really hard to take out an incumbent. with kind of a slate, because I think what we saw most interestingly when you looked at the ballot counts for on the second ballot is essentially Omar and Jacob's second ballots were kind of split even. Like it didn't mean if someone put Dwayne first that they automatically didn't put Jacob second.
But there was an effort to do that. That's what
There
people thought.
absolutely
There was what they called
yeah.
the trick or whatever, where the three. Where some groups were saying it was kind of like the last time around where it was don't rank Fry. But I just think people don't want to be told what to do. Like I don't think they're going to be told to do it. And I don't think a vote for Dwayne Davis guaranteed that they were not
Gonna rank
Jacob Fry and Jazz, a newcomer to the political scene.
Yeah.
I think that people that like Jazz, they were not interested in saying in some sort of kind of like troika-esque.
Yeah.
They were just going to vote for who they were going to vote for.
That's almost the more the merrier strategy isn't successful.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I think what's frustrating for me as someone on the left in Minneapolis, right? So you have a mayor who's just elected with 60% of the people who voted not voting for him, and basically the left has not been able to get its shit together to take out Jacob, a very unpopular incumbent. He's just objectively unpopular. But the left can't get its shit together because there was the greatest consolidation around the most flawed of the candidates early on. I firmly believe that had the left and had Labor consolidated instead around Dwayne Davis, today we'd be talking about a Mayor Dwayne Davis, even a Jazz Hampton. But there were just too many issues, too many skeletons, too many misgivings to make people anxious and antsy about voting for Omar Fateh, and so here we are.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by the. I know there is a feeling that Jacob objectively is super unpopular, but he keeps winning and he keeps polling pretty well. Like. He does.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't poll well. He does. He does well. I literally paid for a poll.
Well,
Okay, so I've got the latest public policy poll. That was in May of 2025.
Okay.
So that's what we've got, and it was 898 voters. By the way, it's a small. It's a little hard to sample properly, but it had a 30% approval rating at that time in May for Fry's job performance.
The 30% approval rating.
30. And then the same poll noted that a majority of voters said they did not want Fry for a third term.
Right.
But, he's been reelected and in sort of in a crowded field, this now will be his third time, or second reelect. So
and we won't have to do it again.
Yeah. Is it that the electorate is just not it's not really a word, but educatable? Is it that just too hard to kind of because we can come up with strategies that we understand, but is it too hard to get people that aren't hardcore activists to understand, why you would do a 1, 2, 3 ranking of the three main candidates in order to block Fry?
I think in part that's it. Because I think about people that always try to where, okay, let's say you have a contested primary on the other side of the ticket, right? Let's say the GOP has a contested primary and the DFL have a no contested primary in a U.S. Senate race. Then sometimes there are moves for folks to say, because in Minnesota it's not us, you can vote on a Republican or a Democrat party. You don't need to name. You just have to pick one side of the ballot or not. So then say, well, let's cross over and pick the least favorable candidate for the other side. I just think stuff like that is too cute by half and just is hard to pull off. And I feel the same with this I'm going to not rank, or I'm going to try to rank these three.
But I think in New York during the primary, the ranked choice voting really helped Mamdani. It helped the consolidation around here because people like other candidates they endorsed each other, but then what slowly happened was that there was a consolidation around him, and so in the end he actually ended up winning over 50% of the primary, if I recall correctly. So he won outright, just without having to go to a second round of counting. But here, like I said, I think it's been a candidate problem. It's been a candidate problem, and I leave it to others to say why that is. I think the city looks to a lot of people as ungovernable. So it doesn't sound like a good job.
It's the worst job in the world.
Yeah.
Being mayor is the worst job in the world for anybody.
But
New York
also,
City mayor,
look
Minneapolis
at what
mayor,
Jacob's
St.
been
Paul
through.
mayor.
I mean, Mayor Fry has been through inarguably a lot, and I mean, there's just no way that you could kind of survive all of those trials and tests, and not have learned things. And I just like.
Well, and
there's no way to look at his tenure and go, well, that was easy. Not a bit of it was easy.
Well, and on the council now, if everything kind of holds serve, it got slightly better for Jacob in that there is not a veto-proof majority of kind of the DSA, ultra progressive wing of the party.
I mean, to be clear, even when they had it, they couldn't manage to pass anything. So. I mean, when I say an ineffective left, I mean an ineffective left. It's embarrassing.
It's hard to get really excited about the vision when there hasn't been that.
I think the council in the last in the last 4 years, the council's primary goal was to be at odds with the mayor, and the mayor's primary goal was to be at odds with the council. Everything was personalized.
I'm really hoping that the mandate everybody got was to work together.
Oh, that's
between the council and the mayor's office. I'm kidding.
It's a new day.
Let's talk about St. Paul.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a new day in Minneapolis. Yeah, let's talk about St. Paul. So St. Paul,
Really that was a new day in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Really new
Oh my
day.
God.
Cowley Herr will be the first woman mayor, first Hmong American mayor. She surprised everyone with a second ballot win. The first ballot mayor Carter was leading, but there weren't the other people running were all to the right of him, and so those votes went to Cowley Herr. That race. So as someone who lives in St. Paul, I'm so annoyed because that race was Melvin Carter's to lose, and he achieved it. He got that done, but it was almost like there was barely. I got one piece of mail from each of them. There was barely a campaign. I was invited to nothing. I saw nothing. I never saw a door knocker. I never saw we had to beg for a lawn sign, and ours is the only lawn sign that I have seen.
Well, so
anywhere.
You did see a lot of Cowley Herr lawn signs, and I know from her camp they had knocked on some 6,000 or 7,000 doors. So while it might have been.
No, this is what I'm speaking to. I'm talking about Melvin Carter's campaign. He took it for. She got in late.
Hard.
And he took it for granted. He very clearly took it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't have an opponent for most of the year, I did not realize this, and now this happens in urban areas with legislators as well. That once you get into a safe seat, people stop campaigning, and campaigns are the service you provide to your constituents. You should be asking them every 4 years or every however long you're up for election, your term. You should be asking them for your vote, for their vote, whether it's safe or not. And so the Carter campaign just basically acted like these safe seat legislators.
Well, he got 60% or 61% right out of the gate the last time around, and so he felt safe.
Yeah.
But also, and we talked about this last time when we were kind of reviewing it, and I lived in St. Paul for 5 years and left last year, and we said, okay, well, I don't get to comment. Well, maybe a little exit interview might have been helpful, because the reasons that I left were I was paying a lot to live in St. Paul. I felt like the value wasn't there. I swear to God, they didn't plow the streets ever. People just drove over until the ruts had gotten deep enough where you could kind of get through the different streets. It wasn't. Yes, I agree with the campaign. I think I almost, like you said, either took it for granted or I don't know. I don't want to speak to that campaign, but also just the city itself is. Grand Avenue is struggling. Downtown is struggling.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's objectively, we say keep St. Paul boring, but you have to keep St. Paul, vibrant and livable.
Because we all spend a lot of time there. And I'm probably the least surprised that this happened. Until like the last couple days where I got bullied into saying that I thought Melvin would win. I really thought that Representative Cully Hurt would win because not even so much because of the strength of her message versus Carter's. It's just that St. Paul, if you drive through it, it is noticeably in not great shape. And for people who live there, I'm sure they see it more than those of us who just kind of work there. And where else can they lodge their complaint other than by voting against Melvin Carter for one of the other candidates? And I thought that was very plausible. And when I went to bed last night, Carter was up on first place votes, but only by a little bit. And by the time I woke up this morning, she had been deemed the winner. And so it's kind of a surprise, but I understand that people remember when St. Paul had a lot going for it, and in a lot of ways was considered more on the up and up, like with Lower Town and all that's gone. My wife used to live in Lower Town, and we kind of watched it get less safe and less clean, and then she left.
I think voters in both cities are struggling with super high property tax bills that are coming at them because our commercial property values are shifting onto residential because of we have a serious issue with the just property value taxation in cities right now across the country, but we're feeling it. Renters feel it and homeowners feel it. And there also public safety rises up as the top issue. Now, they both obviously addressed it as a top concern, and each candidate addressed it in a different way, but I just, between what is going to happen with property taxes and the impact to people's pocketbook, it's going to people are going to get continually less interested in something hopeful or different. But we saw, at least that's how I felt about in Minneapolis. Obviously, it was the opposite in
St. Paul always has a more challenge because they have so much government property and buildings,
yes.
and so they're just off the tax rolls, which adds additional pressure on their property taxes.
And I don't think people dislike Melvin Carter. We all know him. I think we all like him. He's a very affable,
incredibly likable.
Listens to the podcast at least some of the time. But I just think that
I hope not today.
But I just think that there, if you were to say, Brian, what did Mayor Carter do to kind of like stop the decline? He might have done a lot, but I'm unaware of any one thing that I can say, okay, this was what Mayor Carter did to try to, make the streets cleaner or safer. I just didn't see it.
Right. No, right. They stopped communicating.
How much was the rent control piece an issue in St. Paul? I heard about it a lot, but I don't like.
There wasn't much of a campaign. I can't I don't know. I couldn't tell you what issues either of them ran on. I couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you a campaign slogan of either of them. I am a politically engaged person.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
I have a podcast. You might have heard of it.
I've seen the tweets.
He also commissions polls. That's how engaged he is.
No, this is kind of interesting a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, Lady Sarah, everyone knows, my daughter, just texted me, Mondani for the win. Nobody cares about Minnesota, gang.
All politics is New York. We
All
get
politics
it.
is
We get
New
it,
York.
Sarah.
We're just
All right, let's
flyover
move on
country.
to satisfy Lady Sarah.
Yeah, let's. Okay, well, just a couple more things. So there were a couple legislative seats that were up last night. Representative Andrea Hemmingson Yeager took over the seat vacated by the cat burglar. Mike Holmstrom took over the seat vacated by the late Bruce Anderson. And I put St. Paul Park on here only because the race for St. Paul Park was separated by one vote.
Oh,
421 to 420, and there were 20 write-in
420.
votes. 420, but yeah, I guess they must have thought it was Super Wednesday or something. But yeah, Jeff Haggerty 461, Jeff Swenson 460, and there were 20 write-in votes. So when you think your vote doesn't matter, I think that Mr. Swenson and Mr. Haggerty could tell you that.
well, because they're both named Jeff.
Well,
Yeah.
Judge.
People got confused about the Jeffs.
My name is Jeff.
Which Jeff am I?
It's like Jeff Johnson.
Yeah.
There's a
You know.
Jeff Johnson running
This
for
is my-
governor, but it's not that Jeff Johnson.
Of course it's not.
Of course
no,
it's not.
Jeff Johnson. He runs the liquor store.
Who do you support? Jeff. This Jeff or the other Jeff?
The name you know,
Jeff. No.
but just not the last name that you know. Yeah, so I put that on there only because
There's a lot to talk about today. Okay, so
Sorry,
Lisa
okay.
Demuth has entered the governor's race.
Lisa Demuth. I'm sorry. I have to jump out.
Is she gonna stay in leadership? Is she gonna?
yeah,
She
that's
is.
the plan right now.
Okay.
She has to. That's a carefully negotiated speakership.
Goodbye, Amy Frederickson.
Amy is leaving.
Amy's leaving, so now we can talk about her.
Yeah, Amy's leaving.
To do international media because this
Frederickson out.
this hyper local media
Yeah.
didn't make the cut.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about America, fam. It's all about the London Times when you're Amy Frederickson. But yeah, so last week we talked about that Speaker, House Speaker, Republican Lisa Demuth was most likely going to be in. She is now officially in, and that she is going to stay on as Speaker. Which, when I was staff for the Speaker of the House a million years ago, there was an open seat in Congressional District 6. I think that's when Rod Graham's left or someone like that. I don't even remember. But there were a bunch of House and Senate members that were going to run for that federal House seat, and it made governing extremely difficult to do.
Oh yeah, like Tim Walz and Lisa Demuth are going to come up with a supplemental
Yeah.
budget agreement where nothing actually has to happen. Sure,
But
sorry.
she's going to.
but hire us to be your lobbyists because we have a lot of work to do.
Well, you got to protect what you have, if
Yeah.
nothing else. But for sure, and there was a message out of Kristen Robbins' campaign that really hit hard right away, which some people are questioning the political strategy of that. But it's going to be difficult when you have a tied House. How many votes can you lose? None. And if there are rivalries and factions that pop up from this, it's just going to make it really hard to further any agenda. But it also might make it hard to stop the other side's agenda, and they have to get on the same page right quick, or else Minnesota's going to face the consequences of that.
We have to do 2 more special elections because
Yeah.
now Kelly Herr is going to vacate her House seat, and Amanda Hemmingson Yeager is going to vacate her House seat. So we need to have more special elections.
Great.
They're not special. They're just elections.
Well, we've already set the
done them.
record. We've already set the record.
God.
Make elections special again.
Yeah, seriously, stop, everybody. No, it's great that people are willing to run for office, and that's a good thing that should be celebrated because it's not an easy thing to do.
I'm going to make an executive decision here, and we can push the fraud talk to next week because we've talked about it a lot. Let's stay with the national politics. Well, first of all, before we get to the national politics, the name of the episode is Wrong About Dick Cheney, and former Vice President Dick Cheney, who was Vice President under George W. Bush and had several positions in the government before that. He finally passed away, and
Finally.
well, I mean, he passed away. Not finally, I guess. I don't know why I said that.
I mean,
We've all been
I
waiting.
agree. What he has done to executive
I
authority.
did not expect the Republican to be the one to be.
It's like,
No.
finally.
Well, we've all
oh
been.
my
I've been
God.
on Cheney watch for quite some time.
Okay.
But on a different program, they asked me, what is his legacy going to be?
He had like 5 heart attacks.
Well, he had a lot of heart attacks, but I kind of, they were kind of asking me to say, was it going to be like as a war hawk or something like that? And I said, no, he's going to be known as the guy who shot his friend in the face. So,
Also that.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen the
No, but
movie
he's-
Vice about his have you guys seen Vice?
I have not.
Oh,
I'm aware
you
of it.
must see Vice. Dick Cheney's one of the most consequential political figures of modern.
without question.
Yeah.
Without
So-
question.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. No, he was running the search for vice president and then picked himself.
Just like,
And that just set
That's
the stage
amazing.
for
just like,
everything. He
just
was
like Leo McGarry.
But even when he worked in the Nixon administration, his just this philosophy of expanding the executive brings us to where we are now with a lot of the things that Trump is doing. And frankly, every president has abused that and expanded it. But he was very much the architect and proponent of that through Nixon, through Reagan, through Bush 1 and 2.
the unitary executive.
Correct. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Well, he can't do that anymore.
Oh, that's so disturbing. I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay.
That's Baby Brian.
This is an audio mediums for,
sorry.
for a lot of people.
For some people, little baby Brian. So Amy had to leave, and Gabe has very capably put a picture of her holding me as a little baby.
But like Fat Brian.
That's Fat Brian.
Yeah.
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 I had somebody call me from Florida saying, "How much weight are you lost?" Like, that's not
Why'd
usually
they call you from Florida to ask?
because that's where they were.
They saw. Where'd they see you?
Facebook, I'm sure.
Okay. Anyway,
That's not normally what people. That's not normally what people say to you.
Can we
when they
finally
think
get
you
to
look
the
good.
fact that last night Democrats won all the things?
All of the things.
All of the things.
Yeah.
All the
Won-
things.
A lot of blue areas voted blue, but
And a lot of red areas voted blue.
No, that is 100% true.
I am so pumped.
yeah, because nothing different's going to happen.
So
in a year and a half.
North Carolina, so Georgia statewide, the public utility commission
Yeah.
races that were hotly contested.
Public service.
Public Service Commission. They won both of those handily.
For the first time since 2006, had a Democrat won statewide in Georgia
Yeah.
in a state race. So
And North Carolina Democrats Democrats did very well in municipals across, like in rural areas where they had been killed previously. In Virginia, we flipped the governorship from red to blue, and the lieutenant governor won in Virginia. The lieutenant governor is now the first Muslim woman elected statewide anywhere.
Ever? Yeah.
Anywhere. And Virginia, and then they have a supermajority in the House of Delegates now.
And the Attorney General
the
guy
Attorney
won, who
General.
wants to murder people's kids, but he only won by 1%. So there was a.
No, he won by more than that.
I thought, well, anyway,
It was actually surprising. Like I thought
surprising.
that one.
yeah,
That was surprising.
Yeah,
was surprising.
that one
His
people are going to
opponent
regret.
His opponent was gross.
Yes.
So yeah. And then New Jersey, which was expected to be a nail biter, was not a nail biter.
Nope.
Mikey Sherrill won handily. I forgot to say, Virginia Abigail Spanberger is the new governor. She won super handily.
It's amazing when half the state works for the federal government. No, but Abigail Spanberger is awesome. She flipped a super red. She beat Eric Cantor in Richmond in 2018. Like she is an awesome candidate that works for the state of Virginia.
Yeah. And then the big story is the story that your daughter was texting us about.
Yeah, no,
So
she's-
your daughter's very into Mamdani.
She is, and I think she was trying to get me to make an argument against it. But Andrew Cuomo is literally, is it Andrew? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's Andrew
It's
Cuomo.
Andrew, not
Chris.
Mario.
No, Mario's a good guy.
Mario was
the
he
good
was
guy.
R.I.P.
He was a professional baseball
Italian
player.
daddy.
He was a baseball player in the Pirates organization. But yeah, Andrew Cuomo literally is the worst person in the world. And
He killed your grandma and grabbed your girlfriend's boobs.
yeah,
Like, it's
so
like,
and this is a little bit, Javier. Javier was talking about there being a candidate problem in Minneapolis, not compared to New York, because for people to say, well, we don't want the ultra progressive socialist guy to win. Let's dig up this abusive,
Carcass.
disgusting relic.
And then people like Kristen Gillibrand, who is the person probably most responsible for Al Franken resigning for a lot less than what now I'm saying Mario Andrew Cuomo was credibly accused of by many women.
Groping and like we joked about killing grandma. No, like literally did things that led to the deaths during COVID of countless scores of elderly New Yorkers.
I was disgusted by Kristen Gillibrand. I really was, because during the Me Too movement and like Al Franken, I love Al Franken. I had a hard time with. I am a survivor of sexual assault myself, and so like there's just that whole 2017 time of Me Too, and like I I again loved Al Franken. Those photos really hit me in a really sensitive way. And so it's like I got it, but then for her to do a 180, it's disgusting. I'm sorry. As a woman, anything she said stood for, it's so freaking gross. And like this is what people hate about politicians. This
because we see it all the time, and we we say we want this, we want that, but then people just kind of vote in their self-interest, but political figures aren't very different. They try to virtue signal on lots of different things, but at the end of the day, it's about power. It's about retaining power. It's about putting people in office that they think will help them achieve what they want to achieve. And I mean, people shouldn't be surprised by it, but they also shouldn't fall for it, which I think in this election and the next election and the one after that, they will continue to do.
Also, like, Zoran Mondani is, I think I've said this many times on the show, an incredible, charismatic candidate, a wonderful communicator. He brings hope and joy. Also, 9% of New York Trump voters voted for him because he talked about the things that Donald Trump talked about: affordability, like economic issues, owning a business, all of the things. And why I just don't understand why Democrats are like so scared of that, because it's the foundation of our party. We are the party of the war on poverty. We are the party of politics in that way. And Zoran's not going to work in in other states or cities, etc., but he works in New York, and we should embrace what he's bringing to the table.
And Lady Sarah just chimed in with he ain't hard on the eyes either.
Well, yeah, he's a babe.
But his teeth are insanely beautiful.
He's a beautiful man. Stunning.
Yeah. But and New York had the last time New York had turnout like yesterday was 1964.
Good.
1968, because it was a year before I was born.
Yeah.
In 1968 was the last time a New York mayor's race had turnout like that.
And the year after one of the most violent racial summers of all time, 1967. There are so many parallels between the 60s and today. And I think people are like, oh, it's never been this bad. No, it has been.
No,
it has been bad.
It's been worse.
It's been much worse. And I think I am frustrated by those that chose to endorse Andrew Cuomo over him and call themselves Democrats.
I don't have a problem, and quite obviously, I don't have a problem with people, making a choice other than Mondani, but they weren't given a choice, or they were given a choice that was a terrible to put Democrats and other voters in New York to make them say, okay, well, here's somebody who probably doesn't fit what I'm looking for in a candidate, but I'm supposed to vote for Andrew Cuomo
or Eric Adams. We're pretending we're the erasure of Eric Adams.
Or
Curtis
primary.
Sliwa.
It was a crowded primary on the Democratic side, and there were really solid candidates. Brad Lander, there were solid candidates. It was just like Mamdani's the one who got through.
Well, and there are several things that have come out that, of course, as the Republican, I'm going to say I don't like and makes me nervous, and that's okay. He's not doing them for me. But what I do think is most attractive to voters, and it certainly showed itself in this race, and it showed it with Trump and a little bit with like Bernie, is that what people want is authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they will forgive you policy positions that they don't agree with if they think you actually believe in what you're talking about. And we certainly can argue like with Trump and Bernie and all that, but that's what people who are outside of the process, that's what draws them to certain candidates. And I don't know why that is such a hard lesson for people to learn. When the Republicans were running, all these kind of corporate Jeb and Romney and all of that, they were surprised that people weren't attracted to them. And I think Democrats too, with a lot of the gerontocracy. And I don't know why it's so difficult to see that if you can get a candidate that when he speaks, he or she speaks, is actually saying things that they believe in, not just the talking points, or trying to make sure that they're not offending the far left, or that they're not offending MAGA. You can't I don't think you can run that way successfully for very long. And I think what happened in New York was another way that has shown itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an extraordinary politician and put together an incredible coalition and just like gave people something to vote for.
Yeah.
And affordability was the thing, I think, but like the big hang up for a lot of people was Israel. Mm-hmm. That is what Kristen Gillibrand. That is what Schumer. That is what that was what Hakeem Jeffries. And behind that is money in the party. It's AIPAC and that was a thing where I think Mamdani actually got points, because especially like young people view the war very differently than older people do, but also just authenticity. He was expected to be ashamed of being a supporter of Palestinian human rights, and he wasn't. And so and how dare you not be ashamed? So
and this could be
there are a lot of lessons for Democrats here, none of which I think they will learn.
Well, and this could end up if all of a sudden the wheels come off and people find out that a lot of the things that he campaigned on require the legislature in New York to execute. This could be something that for other cities that are flying to the left or whatever. Now we get to see the experiment on the biggest stage. And it might work, it might not work, but we're going to have a lot more information about what those types of policies do. We had a little bit, I think, here in St. Paul, but everything in New York is the biggest it can be. So,
what a great opportunity to organize and advocate at the legislature.
Yeah. All right. Well, just one thing too, because this is something that I needed to do more research on it and ran out of time today. The California redistricting vote. I don't 1,000%. Can someone just give me the cliff notes on what happened with a Prop 50? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Javier,
I'll
Prop
defer to
50?
you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Got Forrest Grump over here.
There for a second.
No. I was saying that I don't know the ins and outs of what happened with Prop 50, and I was just seeing if someone can give me the cliff notes of what happened in
And
California.
I feel like you know more than I do.
It passed overwhelmingly, and
Yes.
it was the only thing on the ballot, which is like, and turnout was good. So people were turning out specifically for that. What it does is it temporarily suspends the independent redistricting commission that the voters approved constitutionally. So it basically the proposition itself names the fact that what happened in Texas, that because Donald Trump is instructing states to gerrymander their districts to benefit Republicans, that they're going to do this, and they're expected to create 5 Democratic friendly districts out of the redistricting. So that's like what's. As a Democrat, last night, just seeing that Maryland is looking to fight back, that now the Virginia House of Delegates, they needed to pass it. Two different legislatures had to pass it. So the last one did, and now the new one, which has a supermajority, they will pass it. People are fighting back, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see.
Can we also note that Mississippi Democrats flipped 2 state Senate seats?
No, we cannot.
I just would like to.
That's a red state.
Yeah.
So what? So now they have
Arguably. So now they have 2 state Senate seats.
Now they have 2.
But
them.
the state Senate no longer has a GOP supermajority in Mississippi. So we'll see.
Anyway, let's go to plugs. What's everybody got? Any Patreon?
No Patreon.
Well, then be meaner. Be meaner right now.
Yeah. So patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast. If you listen to the show, if you enjoy the show, and we know we got a lot of listeners because we could see we see the data. This is an age where you can't lie, as people know. I don't know exactly who you are, but I kind of suspect when I see some of you, especially at the Capitol. if you listen and you could and you could afford it, only if you can afford it, to throw a few bucks our way, we would genuinely appreciate it. Patreon.com/wrongaboutEverything podcast. We are very appreciative of all our Patreons, all our patrons. And because if you are listening and you're enjoying and you can afford it and you're not giving anything, you're kind of being a dick. So don't be a dick. Be like the good people who are our patrons.
Don't be a Dick Cheney.
Don't be a dick.
Then you'd be dead.
Finally.
Finally. He's been on Dick Watch for years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Nope. We'll allow it. The other thing that was interesting, just before we get back into this, is that we neglected to mention is that the president has been silent about the death of Dick Cheney. They obviously were not on the same page, and his Cheney's daughter very famously had battles with Donald Trump. So that'll be something to keep watching the next couple days.
He's going to charge her with a crime soon
because he can't restrain himself most of the time. All right, let's go back to plugs. What you got, Javier?
I'll be it's a ways away, but December 17th, I'll be hosting the Moth Story Slam at the Parkway Theater on Chicago in Minneapolis.
Awesome. I'm a normal person this week.
Well, Amy's off doing.
International media. She's an international media star.
But you can find Amy and I every Tuesday on the BS show with Bob Sansevier, and every other Friday on the Al Travis show. Friend of the program, Carla Bigham and I have a program, a little satellite program called Wrong About Sports, which we enjoy doing. I was on Ad Issue last Friday. I'm going to be doing comedy at the Purple Party from Majority in the Middle on the 15th of November, which I'm super excited about. And the Minnesota Center for Fiscal Excellence had me moderating a legislator panel about how what are the federal impacts to the state of Minnesota. And I appreciate them asking me to do that. And Senators Nelson and May Quaid did a great job. So thank you very much to them. Let's go to Spanks and Thanks. Who would like to go first?
I can go first. I'm going to be quick, and I really only have a thank. And at the end of any campaign cycle, I think we must always thank the campaign staff, because that is a really hard job. I mean, depending on the pace of your campaign, but it's a really hard job. Most people do not make a lot of money. It requires a lot of volunteers. And it's just, it's kind of all you think about for a few months or a year. And then it's just over the next day. So it's kind of like waking up with a huge hangover, and not a big pocketbook.
And laid off. Yeah. Jobless and hungover, but and some of you won and some of you didn't. But it's a great experience, and it can turn into a career that actually is quite lucrative. But thank you to all of the campaign staff in Minnesota, particularly in the local elections, because they're hyper local, and the hyper local rhetoric can be kind of intoxicating and super also toxic, and it is. It's never fun when your candidate doesn't win. So I just want to thank everybody that took the time and energy to make sure that we have a healthy local campaign system in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yeah. My think is similar, and then I also only have one thing, but I want to speak to Democrats. It's been really hard to be a Democrat. Mm-hmm. I really want to thank all the people who came out yesterday, because there are moments when it feels hopeless. What we're facing on every day, the lawlessness, and our opponents are people who just don't believe that the rules apply to them, and they'll change them or just break them. And so I want to thank all the people. Like what you may think all you did was vote, but this was a first step in blocking a clear rise of authoritarianism in this country. And so I just want to thank everyone who went out, and everyone who's feeling a little more hopeful today, and just say we got a lot more ahead. We got a lot more coming. But you did your part yesterday, so you are thanked.
All right. Well, I'll try to be super fast. So, my spank is going to be to the BBC. The BBC has serious questions to answer. A cross-party group of MPs said, following reports that one of their documentaries misled viewers by editing speeches of Donald Trump to make it look more like he was advocating for violence on January 6th. I think that this is just so horrific because people hear fake news, they turn things off, they say, oh, they're just making that up. But then stuff like this comes out and it gives credence to all the people who say, ignore what you don't like in the media. So this is something that I'm glad actually that the BBC is trying to look at their internal controls on this, because this is something that is pretty horrific. Almost always, you don't have to try to make stuff up to find things that Donald Trump says that are upsetting to people. So I think that it might be a good idea to not do that. So this is something that they're looking into. Britain is looking at it very seriously, and that is good. My thank is going to actually be to Donald Trump because he put third-term theories to bed, says the Constitution is pretty clear that he can't run for a third term, and that is not fake news because the Constitution is clear he cannot run for a third term.
The fact that this is pretty clear is alarming to me.
Well, I think you got to take that as a partial victory, but so that is something that I'm glad to get out of the way because that is something that is very divisive, and my prediction is he doesn't run for a third term, but that we will see.
Here's my prediction: is that he said to calm the waters because for the midterms, but I'd bet money that he'll have a different tune come this time next year.
And I think it's going to be that he doesn't run, but that Marco and Vance are going to find out that Trump's going to want it to be a decision between is it Eric Trump or is it Don Jr. But that remains to be seen. We'll see. We'll put a friendly wager on that. But with that, I am Republican strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian Koch.
I am happy it is November 5th, Allison Nessie.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Koch.
And we are
Wrong about everything.